Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 95 of the Tiki Taka podcast. I declare this episode the saddest episode of Tiki Taka history. Um, we'll get we'll get to as why. Anyway, I'm your host Peter, and uh, sorry. Anyway, is with me
Hi.
Patrick
Hello, guys.
and Steven.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
All right, so we got a big show to get to. Um, Cynthia, I don't know if you discussed the thing with Steve. Do you guys want to do that or?
Yeah, if you don't mind letting Steve have a minute,
Yeah.
he's gonna tell us what's going on, and then yeah.
All right. Well, Steve. Steven. And Bruno joined the call.
Oh. Oh.
Yo,
Hey.
All right,
You there?
guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Bruno, stay quiet. Steven's got something.
so Steve's here.
Yeah, Steve's got something to say. Just
Bruno, you walked into the moment of silence, please.
Hold on.
Hey, guys.
I have to put you on mute.
So I'll just continue. So yeah, on the first podcast I was on, we had that little issue where I was talking and one of my drivers said a funny joke. We all laughed about it. Unfortunately, that driver passed away this morning. So, he was a good man. So I just wanted to have a moment of silence for him, since he did have that one little moment for us in one of our pods.
yeah, we can start in now. All right, let's get this show going now with that out of the way. My condolences to your friend, by the way. And yeah, let's get it going. So we got 3 games to get to. I'm obviously going to get to my least favorite one, quite obviously. Benfica playing against Tondela and managing to lose in a game where Bruno said that Benfica are going to win 5-0. So, I mean, that's just...
6-0. That motherfucker said 6-0.
You did?
Yeah, seis nada.
Well, he was wrong. Weren't you, Bruno? So, is he going to mute his mic or what?
Aren't you happy that I'm wrong?
No, I'm not.
It's a bittersweet. I'll tell you that right now.
You want me to always be
I want you to
be wrong?
I want you to be right. I wanted you to be right this time. Why couldn't you be right this time, you idiot?
Well, one, I'm not an idiot.
Yes, you are.
2, weren't you the one that said I'd rather lose a game than end up at the end of the season with the same amount of points and
No,
lose?
don't throw his
said
shit
that
in
I
his
didn't
face.
want-
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Ah, boys. So who's the idiot now?
No, but we could have won both games, and you guys could have won both games. You didn't imply us to lose. I just said for you guys to not tie once. That's what I said.
We could have tied. We were on the verge of tying, but because of your big mouth,
No. I said for you.
it happens. So now you have to sleep at the end of the night and say, man, because of me, Benfica lost to Tondela, and Porto's on the verge of being champion.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I said for you guys to not tie the game. But anyway, let's get into this stupid game. Everybody's stupid, by the way. You can see the mood on the news today. Anyway.
It's not the saddest pod. It's the stupidest episode.
Yeah, sure. That way
See?
too.
Cynthia even remembers. Cynthia remembers what all these little details.
I don't know. Don't get on my nerves.
Peter, you know what you got to do? You got to ask Patrick's cats. They'll remember as well.
Anyway, let's get into the lineups now. Bruno Varela was in goal. Andre Almeida, Luizão, Ruben Dias, and Grimaldo across the back. Samari, Zivkovic, and Pizzi in the midfield. Rafa, Servi, and Jimenez. And if I'm not mistaken, City, you did not watch this game, right?
No. I had real life stuff happening.
Oh, because Benfica is in real life.
Well, until we get an actual fucking backline, no. There's nothing happening here right now.
All
They're
right.
out to lunch.
All right. Well, I'll get us started then, since I'm the Benfica, and then I'll let Bruno.
Well, hold on a second. You got to tell the fans what was more important than Benfica.
It was family day at the amusement park. Mario had booked it for his through his work. The amusement park opened up for everybody on Sunday, but on Saturday they were open just for his work. And so we went in, and I did a roller coaster, and it's the 7th one in the world for like biggest and scariest and just stupidest, because it's like an 80-degree drop, and I did it.
So hold on a second. This amusement park it's not called Stade de Luge, is it?
That's what everybody was saying. They're like, you've been on so many roller coasters. And then afterwards, at nighttime, I went to watch Infinity War. So it was 3 roller coasters in one day.
How does this make you feel?
I was exhausted by the end of the night. I was done.
I understood. Very good. Oh,
Yep.
okay. Please proceed with your analysis.
Stupid analysis.
Yeah, like I was saying before we went live, is I'm not sure how to react to these games where we played extremely terrible, but
in our own house. Ugh.
Yeah, but when I was even talking to Cynthia, and she was saying that she was the highlights, and we had, I don't know, fucking 700 chances that went just near off the poster off the
I think that's going to be the name of this season. We're going to call this the missed chance, because if it's a potential penta year, why the shit is it a growth year from LFV? And I'm sorry, everybody's mad at RV. I get it. But y'all have jobs eventually. Some of you are students. I get it. But eventually, when you have a job, you can only do so much when your boss only lets you do. And I feel LFV is the problem, because Ederson left and you're going to replace him with Varela. That's like putting my Avo in there. And you know what? She'd probably save some of these things that he doesn't. Come on, man. Ugh.
I mean, I'm gonna have to be cold-hearted and very realistic with the
Not about my
the
Avo.
Lumpio Nation.
Uh-huh.
No, not about your Avo. Please, your Avo. She's a sweet old lady. Come on. I'm gonna be a little realistic about you guys, and I'm gonna tell you what happened with Orelhas.
Oh no.
If you look back about what's been going on in these last couple of years, and what the emails have been telling us, is that he had a lot of control, and he thought that he could sell the best players, go in there with a very limited squad, and still come out champion because of all the influences that he had. But since the emails came out and the preparation of the season was very wrong, because if you look at it, you didn't sign anybody that was other than Krovinovic. That was the only signing that you guys really had for the upcoming season. Other than that, you guys did nothing. And then if you analyze more, you guys you're banking on a 33-year-old striker that right now has been quote unquote injured. We don't know what's really wrong with him.
Scored 34 goals, so you can't really say that was an issue.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you're banking on a guy that's 33.
Yeah, but he still scored 34 goals, so that wasn't
not when he's injured. We need him now.
Yes, when he's injured, it was a crunch time, or quote unquote injured. We don't know if he has to take a little pee into the cup.
Oh my God.
But we have to see, and then you got a back line that's very aging, Jardel and Luizão. I mean, Luizão looks spectacular this past weekend. Keep that up. Make sure you throw him in against Sporting, please. That looks good. And now you got a lot of problems, and then you change the system and all this other stuff. So there's a lot of factors that are going into what's going on. Can you blame Rui Vitoria? You could blame him for some things, but I think the number one. I think Cynthia's on the, nailed it. She said Orellas is probably the biggest responsible guy because of the planning of the team. He didn't reinforce the team. And we all know that Benfica is going to have a lot of monetary problems at the end of this season because who are you going to be able to sell? You're not going to be able to sell anybody that
Hopefully, we
great
don't tell
for
anybody.
big money.
Hopefully, we.
I don't know, man. The way they're talking about ripping apart the B team and selling those guys, and they haven't even had a chance up the front. Like, fuck's sakes. It's another Bernard Silva.
Well, listen. I mean, and this is what happens when you don't get into Champions League, and you got in the major risk of that, and then you got to sell your best players for, where we'll call it limited amount of profit, because a lot of those players are not going to go full value. You tell me that Ruben Diaz is going to go for 20 million somewhere? I don't think so. Yes, he's a young guy. Yes,
There's no way
it
that
seems
he's
like
going anything under 25. Then I'm telling you, if he,
I will tell you this: you get an offer for 10 million, and Orellas is going to consider it. Consider it.
No, that's ridiculous.
Listen, I'm not saying that he's going to sell. I'm just saying he's going to contemplate. He'll consider it.
I wouldn't even consider it. I find that ridiculous.
You're not LFE, man.
No, but to add to your point, what I was going to say, and I was saying off, is that we can, like, nobody can win every year, right? And obviously, losing happens. The only issue that I have with this is that we, or as Cynthia wants to say, we, because I spoke we as Benfica, hampered our season by not giving us one or two players to help us out. Because, like, the issue is that you look at these games, not specifically this Tondela game, but a lot of other ones where if the goalkeeper was a bit better, we could have gotten some points here. If we had another midfielder here, if we had an actual fullback and stuff like that, and that's what hurts. What hurts is that we didn't help ourselves to win, and that was what was happening with Porto and Sporting as well, because they also had seasons in the bag and they just let it go. So, and I feel like that was my biggest disappointment is that we didn't help ourselves to win. It's not losing because you can't win every time. The issue was how we lost.
But it should have been a push for a win. That's what I'm saying. A potential penta. Only Porto has that, which they love to remind us, right? And so it's just, this was a stupid year to try and do growth and see if we can just coast. No. It's like he didn't even care for the penta. You know what I mean?
That's no, he cared. Remember, the structure of the previous 4 years was there. Structure off the field, and that's what he was banking on. And then things went bad when the emails started to come out. And no Benfica fan could sit here and say that didn't have any type of influence on the outcome of the season, because when you don't invest in your team, you don't invest in the club with any type of player other than Krovinovic. I mean, you sold Ederson, and Cynthia again is like spot on today. She said that, listen, you're going to replace this guy with that guy. Like, Ederson is considered one of the best goalkeepers in the world, right?
Top 10.
How are you going to have one of the best goalkeepers in the world sold for big money, and it wasn't even the best deal for you? The best deal was actually for what's his name? Riwav.
Okay.
I mean, you see where I'm going with this? I mean, and then Smith was gone, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's a big problem.
Yeah, you have somebody leave for Barcelona, and that's what I was like saying to my dad. It's like you have somebody leave for Barcelona and you don't replace him. We're not talking like, some mid-table team somewhere. If you went to Barcelona, you can see the amount of impact he had, right?
Exactly.
And that was, to me, was one of the biggest. And obviously, also, Buta was playing well, and then he suddenly gets loaned out in the beginning of the season, and in comes Douglas. I found that was stupid. There were ridiculous decisions along the way, and that's what really annoys me. And a lot of people can blame Rui Vitória, but I'm like, we know what he's capable of. Yeah, he has bad games, makes bad decisions, but we know what he's capable of with a decent team. Well, lest we forget that he conceded. We conceded 7 or 6 minutes in against Bayern Munich in Munich, and the team held off extremely well and went to have a very good game. If it wasn't for a couple of referees' decisions, we might have even tied or won that game. So it's kind of like, we can't forget everything that he did in the Champions League. Yes, not this year, but the past years, and what the team has produced. And if Bruno wants to talk about the emails, whatever, that's his thing. But we saw our team produce with Vitória. Yeah, not to the extent with JJ, but still very good football at times. And it's also hard to put the team to play well when you don't have the players to. Obviously, for me, some self-inflicted mistakes are, for example, betting too much on Pizzi and always
Mhm.
subbing off Zivkovic for Seferovic, because you're forcing Seferovic to play basically as an attacking midfielder, and the dude already has not a lot of playing time, so that doesn't help. But those are mostly like substitutions or one or two players that he invests too much on them. I think those are the most self-inflicted mistakes by Rubitoria, because the rest, I mean, it is what it is. You can't really do everything. Like, you can't blame, for example, Rubitoria for Rafa when he missed those sitters against Seville. Yes, we did win this game. We did win that game, but he missed those opportunities. Or when Bruno Varela had that frango against Boavista. Those are the things that, like,
Well,
Rubitoria.
even this game, Salvio had that miss. There were a bunch of misses. That's not RV's fault that these guys are missing their chances. You got to score.
Yeah, that's why even this game
You're
is so
supposed to be a
hard.
professional.
It's so hard to like speak of, because it's like we play terrible, but we still have so many chances that we probably should have won this game like 5-3. But like, these guys couldn't put it in the back of the net. Yeah, we played terrible, but how many chances did we have? So that's frustrating too.
Mhm.
I don't know if Patrick wants to start weighing in on this, because you're kind of all over the place. So
Yeah, I don't mind. Well, as you said, you're spot on with the analysis. It was a game where obviously Benfica could have decided their own destiny at both ends. They made a few mistakes at the back, and Tondela were right on point to punish them for it. And then at the other end, they had a couple of chances that probably could have got a result for your team at the end of the day. But I don't know. There was obviously kept leading on from the Rui Vitória bit. There's obviously a lot of criticism levelled at Rui Vitória, and I'd agree that he's not entirely to blame for everything with the options that he's got. Obviously, his defence was completely stripped down at a stage where he probably going into the season. What Benfica actually needed was to add to that defence, especially at centre half, and you did the opposite and took many of the good bits around it. So obviously, I can feel very sympathetic for what he's done and for what for where he took Benfica to right now. Because before the Tondela game, Benfica were right in it. They were a result away from being back on top of the table. So I tip my hat off to Rui Vitória for at least doing that, especially in a difficult season that it has been. I feel sympathetic towards him. There's obviously I still think when you're playing against a team like Tondela, and of course you can lose any game, I still think that I think a lot is looked down upon on Samaris as a bit of a get rid player. I still think Samaris is a player that, to throw him in against a club like Tondela, I still think you should expect a performance from him, and so I don't think it's there that Benfica would have dropped off necessarily. And obviously, Luizão is a different case, as is Douglas. But yeah, elsewhere, obviously, there were a few decisions that going into the all-important game against Sporting with the Champions League in mind. There was a few decisions that the referee could have picked up on, with Ruben Dias and Servi and all that. But it goes like that sometimes, but we'll see. We'll see what happens against Sporting, because as Bruno says, it's an important game for Benfica. Looking at their squad with when we look at this, like the stripping down of the squad and what Benfica already gotten rid of, and who's actually valuable and could make up for Champions League money should they not qualify. It's looking pretty bare in my eyes. In my opinion, the only players that Benfica can truly sell quite comfortably are Grimaldo, perhaps Zivkovic, and Servi. The only players that are worth good money on a European scale. So, but if Benfica are trying to lose them to, cover financial gaps, all of a sudden, then you begin to dread what the squad will look like and how it will live up to this version, even if it's not even a team that's gone on to win the league. So yeah, it all makes up for a very interesting game against Sporting at the weekend. Obviously, both teams will want to be in the Champions League, not just to attract better players, but financially. And this year, in particular, the money has it's improved the money that the clubs get. So it's very important to be in that in contention. We'll see what happens though.
You think Bruno Carvalho is available for some stupid comments about Benfica to get our guys riled up?
I don't think Benfica players will necessarily need that sort of motivation anyway. So
Come on, man.
I don't know. I think he could, but as I say, I just don't think it'll make much of a difference. I think both sets of players are going into the game focused on the win. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out, because obviously Benfica have to come into this one with a positive mindset, because a 0-0 favours Sporting in the head-to-head. But
just shut up, Patrick. No more talking.
No, that could be good for us if Sporting get back a little bit and relax a bit on the result. It could work.
Yeah, but at the same time, perhaps Sporting sense blood in Benfica and emotionally, and Sporting could go for them as well. And obviously, if Benfica scored,
that type of coach at times he likes to sit back too much. It depends. I think Sporting might start off like really strong and pressure, but
if goals start flying, and they don't need an exciting game for one or two. We only need a Benfica goal for Sporting to all of a sudden Sporting has to win. So it'll be an interesting game to see how both teams approach it.
Yeah, right. Because Sporting only have the advantage if we finish 0-0, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it's 1-1, then it goes. I don't know what it goes to.
It goes to Benfica, right? I think we have a better goal difference.
It goes to goal difference.
Yes, it goes to goal difference.
Let me just check that real quick and see if
Sporting can't really relax too much on what they've got, because what they've got at the end of the day is just a 1-1 draw at the Stadio de Luz. So
we got a way better goal difference than you guys. 17 goals in goal difference. So if it finishes anything other than
unless they do 17 fucking goals, Jesus Christ,
they're not gonna score.
Oh my God!
Well, no, it's 17 plus whatever you guys do against Moreirense.
Yeah, we can do 10. You can concede 7.
Thank you.
No, we need to concede 8. I'm just saying, if you guys score 10, we need to concede 8, so you guys go over. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about this game. I don't know if you guys want to move on from it or
Well, you still gotta get Steven's input.
He's been real quiet. Steven.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this game in general, besides that my dad was walking around mad the next day and wouldn't watch the Porto game with me.
Your dad's a Benfica?
Yes, he is. I'm the only Portista in the house.
Is that Steph's brother, or is your mom Steph's brother?
My mom is my uncle's sister.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Good for you.
So,
Good
so I had
for
to keep
you.
it strong. He wouldn't watch the game, and after Porto scored, he shut the door, didn't talk to me for the rest of the day. So that's my take on that.
Steven.
You broke your dad's heart, man.
Did you ask him how his Malone was feeling?
No, I didn't ask him that.
No, he wants to still live in the house.
He has a dad. He's gonna get nice to his dad. I'm just saying.
I'll tell you, my mom has. Oh my God, she's been off. She's been wilding. That's what she's just. Oh my God, that lady is livid right now. She keeps crying about Artur Suarez Diaz. She sounds worse than Peter.
Thanks for that.
I'm telling you, one time I saw a game with my dad. It was Porto Benfica. I think it was when King was still the goalie at Benfica, and we had Alexander Lopez. So it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
and I think we beat Benfica at Benfica Stadium. And every time we scored, I would just rub it in my dad's face, and then I realized how angry he was getting. So I was like, okay, I think it's the last time I rub anything in his face.
All I know is that my mom came home after Benfica lost the game, and she looked at me and she turned to my dad and said, "He's distraught," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Distraught.
yeah." I just like I can't like I didn't know how to how is this it's so sad. Just I have no words. It's so it's painful. It's painful.
Peter, do you need a shoulder to cry on?
No, I didn't cry, but I was upset. Obviously, it is what it is. We just gotta move on and look for next season. Even though my dad still thinks we can win the 10th. I don't know how, but
I'm with
Listen,
your dad,
don't worry
man.
about
I still believe too.
Porto needs
Patrick has
twice.
a cat for you. Patrick has a cat for you. You can
I
you
have
can hug,
I have two cats.
cuddle up with.
Another one. I got 2 cats and 2 dogs. I'm fine. Thank you.
You might need another one.
I know. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good with 2. 2 of each is good enough. But
You want
yeah,
a bird?
I don't know. No, God, no. Those are annoying as hell. No.
A
You could
fish,
teach him
maybe.
to talk.
No, I had a fish for 7 years.
You could teach him Porto e merda, sacana.
Well, actually, you know what you could? You need a topeira. That's what you need. A topeira.
What we need is to move on. What we need is to move on and talk about the next game, which is Patrick's Sporting.
Yeah. So for this one, Sporting come in with a big change, being at the back. Centre half Matia was unavailable, and Petrovic was the man who started. Personally, I would have started Bonilla, but Jesus is on a Petrovic vibe at the moment, so he slotted him alongside Coates, with Coentrão left back and Ristovski to the right. In midfield, Bataglia, Brian Ruiz, and Bruno Fernandes were the trio. Acuna and Gelson on the flanks. Bastos up front by himself. And it was a good start from Sporting, obviously, in the knowledge that Benfica had slipped up at home. Automatically, the hunger to win doubles, and that's what I think we saw from Sporting. It was a good first half, and we could have taken a lead pretty early on through Bataglia. And we picked up from there until we eventually got the goal, which was a piece of genius from Bruno Fernandes to flick it over the goalie's head. He's scored a similar goal already this season. A lot closer to summertime than now, and it was a good performance from Sporting in the first half, other than the moment in which Portimonense find themselves bagging the equaliser. And I think you can expect that, as you say, with Petrovic coming in along the back. Portimonense had recovered the ball quite quickly and played that ball, that arced ball across the back line. It was something similar we saw actually in the Benfica game when Tondela scored their first. It just simply caught the Sporting defence out in terms of organisation, and Portimonense were level. And so from then on, you did start dreading a difficult second half, and it was what Sporting got, in the second half. We tried to find a way through. It didn't end up being as fluid in terms of quality of the chances that Sporting were able to conjure up. It wasn't as strong as the first half, but in the end, we needed another piece of art from Bruno Fernandes to save us, and thankfully we got it.
Jesus, Murphy, can you put your bromance aside, Patrick? He loves Bruno Fernandes.
I don't think you'll find a better brace this season, honestly. The first
Just stop
goal,
showing off.
to flick it over the goalkeeper was too cool. And then if you pay attention to his winner, he takes the chest away from his chest control, goes away from the defender, which I'm going to give him credit. And then the volley has like a really subtle swerve to it, so it goes out and then into the bottom corner. It was too sick.
What
It
color
was
are his
amazing.
eyes?
The way
And
that
when's your
you're,
first
the way that
date?
you're talking, like the way that you're talking in your voice, it like it shows.
Nah,
I'm
it
telling
was
you,
it was
what color are
amazing.
his eyes? And when are
And
you guys going on your first date? And when are you
Patrick, I
telling you love?
Patrick, I have to kind of agree with Cynthia a little bit. It sounds like you sound like Peter talking about that guy with the red velvet fleckers.
Finally,
all
finally,
right, all right. Nah, 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 nah,
I'm
nah,
not
nah.
the only one now.
But you
Nah.
guys, he
But
controlled the
honestly,
header and it went away from the other guy with his chest.
This
His
is
nah, nah,
big,
nah, nah.
muscly
Cynthia. This is called
chest.
Oh my
technical analysis
God,
at its
All,
best.
all,
this
all
is just
I'm
something
trying to
else.
say is this is a lead up to me saying I was going to say this last
That
week.
you
And
want
I
his
already
babies?
mentioned,
We hear you.
no, no, no. I already mentioned to you guys before. I think Bruno Fernandes is the best player in the league, and the Portimonense manager said it himself as well. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that one out there as well. That Bruno Fernandes
Just
to
wanted
me
to
happens to be the
quickly.
best player in the league this season, especially his player of the season. I know you all have your
And the
favourites,
sexiest
be it
one to
Jonas or
you?
Brahimi. No,
I'm not
no,
going to
no.
say Jonas. Come off.
Oh my God, Cynthia's
No, Cynthia really.
Peter Pan. He's in freaking Nassau right now trying to fix his back. Stop it.
He's been out
Cynthia
for like
feels that
games. He
the
scored
sexiest.
34 goals. He got so many assists, and like you can't blame him for like being like out for 5 games. You can say he's not the best player in the league. Like if that's
I
your
can damn well blame him. You know who I'm going to blame?
Bruno
Benfica
Fernandes
for
is
playing
on
old
something
people.
like 36 goal contributions this season from midfield. That's
Oh.
amazing.
No, I'm not saying.
Tell
I'm
me
not
more.
saying- I'm just saying that like
Does he like long walks on the beach?
both players to me are basically in the same level. I just think that Jonas being the striker that he is and scoring 34 goals, kind of like he can't go unnoticed and say he's not the best.
No, obviously, yeah, but
Because he literally carried Benfica on his back. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes did at times, but Bruno also had some help from Bastos and especially Gelson. While it felt like Benfica without Jonas,
no, I disagree.
how Benfica is without Jonas.
I don't think Benfica's problem is specifically Jonas. Obviously, he's great. He's a great finisher, and when the ball's played at his feet and
No, the
all
problem
that,
is we
it could
rely
create
too much.
magic. I don't think you do though, because I see the difference when Benfica play a top team, be it Porto or Sporting or whoever in the Champions League, and Jonas isn't quite the same, and that's where I'm looking at who is so
And
influential
Bruno shows up?
they can be seen. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes showed up against Juventus and Borussia
He's
Dortmund
got a man
and
crush,
whatnot.
boys.
And Porto got players of the same caliber, even Benfica. To me personally, the best player at Benfica this season, I would have to go and say Servi.
Okay, yeah.
No way, Krovinovic.
Well,
Nah,
but
he missed
Krovi's
half the
also.
season.
No.
Like everybody's.
Benfica recovered from Krovinovic's injury. Yeah, well, obviously, if we could have had him on a game or two, results would have been different. But it wasn't
A
like
game or two.
I disagree. I don't think you guys were playing that great.
But even if we weren't, we still got the results. It wasn't because Krovinovic wasn't playing that we weren't winning.
You got the results lá com um emprãozinho e colinha de vez em quando.
Referee.
Hey, we're talking about Bruno Fernandes' eyes. Can you please be
You want
quiet?
to go ahead and like talk about how Marega got an offered goal by the Tondela player? I'm not saying he was done on purpose, for God's sake. I'm just saying, he had a
But
mistake.
you are.
No, I'm just saying that he had like a very, if we're gonna like talk about that, like that was the easiest goal Marega will ever score in his life. And I'm not saying it was done on purpose. I'm just saying start talking about
what you're trying to say is you wish you had a couple of offered goals from the Tondela defenders this past weekend.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yes. No.
Whatever. No, I'm not. But whatever.
No, I'm
You could
kidding.
you could say that you know what the referee o Ferrari Vermelho the Ferrari de Monte Gordo poupou vermelho ao Ruben Dias, poupou vermelho ao Servi, anulou gol mal ao Benfica, ao Tondela, que podia ser 4-1. He could have said a lot of things.
Yeah.
You chose to leave those details out.
I chose to leave those details out because I don't think that the foul of Ruben Diaz is a foul. If it's a foul, it's a straight red.
O quê? Oh my God.
Servi got lucky to not get a red card, but like several other players this season, like Felipe, like freaking kicking Jonas in the first game, got away without even getting a yellow. These things happen. This time we got lucky with Serbia not getting sent off. You guys got lucky.
Are you serious that Ruben Diaz didn't deserve a red card? Everyone has said that was a deserving red. First of all, it was a bad call. He wasn't
I think
offside.
he's a dirty player. He deserves a red, anyways.
I was just saying, if it's not a foul, it's not a red. If it's a foul, it's a red. That's how I'm agreeing with you.
Or Ruben Valtudo.
Yeah, but it should have been a foul. It was, to me, it was essentially a carbon copy.
It's a direct
of what
red.
Ruben Ferreira did to Gonçalo Paciência
Which
in the Porto game.
Talk about because I did not watch that game.
Well.
And I'm not going to watch the game against Fiorentina. I'm telling you that right now.
Peter, you didn't watch it because the ice pack was over your head and across your eyes. You couldn't watch the game.
Yeah, you think I was gonna waste my time watching that?
The inchaço must have been huge.
Yeah, and it still is, and it's going to be until the end of next season.
Patrick, I found a problem with your Bruno Fernandes. His ear is super weird, man.
His ears?
Yep.
It helps to hear the calls from
I'm
that
trying to get a
testosterone.
photo for you, and then I'm going to put the hearts around it for you.
See, now you gotta be the one dealing with it, not me. So I'm
Fernandes isn't my boy, man. He's not my boy. I get it confused.
Your
I will
voice
say this-
spiked when you were talking about him. Don't lie to me.
It is though. I'm not kidding, Patrick. You kind of sounded.
Bruno Fernandes is so good, guys.
Nah,
The
he's not
ball
my
hit
boy
his
like that.
head.
He's not my
You
boy like
sounded
that.
definitely super. You were super excited,
My
bro.
sporting favourite's William, and
Patrick, I will say this though. Patrick, I will say this.
Yeah.
If you guys don't get second place and you don't get into Champions League, you might have to be forced to sell him.
You can say
Oh
good.
no!
Not a
Don't tell him
problem.
that. He's gonna get hurt.
That's the nature. That's the nature of any big team, really. I think Porto will probably be forced to sell some of their top players even now. So
Meh.
Yeah, I think we will cash out on a couple of players. That's for sure.
Honestly,
Exactly.
though, what players though that you think can go for a lot?
We're talking about Sporting now. We're not talking about Porto.
I'm just asking.
Take it
you a
easy.
simple question. Just
well, what, at Porto or Sporting?
no, I was talking about Porto because you.
Well, at Porto, well,
You
for
get
sure,
to think there's like two players that are at the end of their contracts, which is Marcano and Flip. I don't think
Right.
any of them have
No,
renewed.
there's four. There's Marcano, there's Reyes, there's Casillas, and Maxi. There's four.
Oh, okay. I thought Flip was in it. Never mind. Marcano is in it. All right. So who do you think besides Brahimi? Do you think that would go for a lot of money? And I'm talking about.
I don't think they're going to sell Brahimi. I don't think that they're going to sell him. I think they're going to sell other guys. I think Mariga's going to get a big offer that they're not going to be able to
But
refuse.
how big? What are we talking about? 15 million, or are we talking 25 million? Because for Marega, to me, 15 million is already a lot of money. So it's just depends on the perspective.
I think it's going to be in close to 30.
There is no way that team would go. Oh my
I
god!
think more 20.
In-
I think more
in
20
England-
personally.
In England, they will pay.
30?
Now, does that mean that he's going to produce? That's a different story. I'm just saying, will they pay that amount of money? In England, they will pay.
Why
You're
won't they
telling
pay
me that
50 million for Raul then? Give us 50 million for Raul if you can give 30 for fucking Marega. Oh my goodness.
To me, I think Porto, in money wise, I think you're looking at both their fullbacks, Ricardo and Alex Stausch. I think
Yeah, those
together
are
they
two
could get
guys.
about 50, 60 million.
those are two guys that are gonna get shopped around.
I was
you know,
surprised
you
they
might-
got Leicester this season.
Abubakar is going to be another one. I would not be surprised if they sold Suarez to China, something like that. I mean, there's a lot of guys there that are they could sell a good amount of players for
And
sure.
obviously,
Most of them are easily replaceable.
there's still Oliver Torres, who's a player who's referenced by a lot of scouts around Europe. So
Yeah, but Porto isn't gonna get a lot of money from him. Like they're not gonna
well,
get.
he could
30 million.
because he's still a player with, like, as I said, he's got a good CV behind him.
He's not
In
gonna
terms
get
of clubs
30.
that are interested and still appreciate the kind of player he is. He could, I think they've comfortably got about 15 million guaranteed just by the name.
Yeah,
Just by the name.
half of what they paid. That's how I see it. I don't see
No, because they paid.
that
Well,
they paid 30. They paid 30, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Bruno? Am I right?
I think they paid.
What?
Well, in pounds, I know it was 21. So
Bruno,
What are you talking about?
Oliver,
Oliver Torres.
No, they paid 20.
Yeah,
20 million.
So,
was it 20? Okay, I had some idea it was 30. That was my bad, obviously.
Tu ainda estás a sonhar lá com o Red Velvet
it was
Quartet.
20. It was 20. It was 20. No, I can be wrong, man. Anyway, I just think most of the players that you guys are talking about are easily replaceable, except for the fullbacks. I think all the other ones are squad players.
No,
Obviously, you got
I don't. I disagree with that. I disagree with that, Peter, because Yes, do they have good seasons? Alex Telles and Ricardo Pereira. I think they've had very good seasons, the both of them. If we sell them, it's going to be for big money. But we do have a Diogo Dalot that's ready to explode. He's going to get a good amount of playing time, and we have a couple other guys from the B team that are coming up that are going to be good players too. So,
Right. I don't know. I
and they're
don't know
young.
if you're gonna get, but I don't know if you're going to get the level of play that you got out of Alex Telles and Ricardo.
In terms of production, I would agree with you 1,000,000%. I don't think you're going to get 17 assists or whatever it is. No, you're not going to get 17 assists from your fullback, but at the same time, you're still going to get a decent amount of production defensively and offensively. I mean, if you get 6 or 7 assists out of your fullbacks each one, that's a good amount. But in my opinion, all three are going to have major changes to their roster based on Champions League and other factors.
Can I? Can I?
Sport, Sporting has to sell. Benfica definitely has to sell. Porto definitely has to sell. It's just as Patrick said, it's the nature of the beast.
Can I just ask a question before we ask Steve what he thought about the Sporting game and we move on to Porto? Do you guys think that, in regards of past years, that this year we're losing players that aren't as vital as some that we had in the past years? Like, for example, Hulk, James, Falcão, Matic, Garay, those guys. Do you think that the new players that are on our teams now that we might sell aren't as valuable as the ones that we had before? If you guys
Yeah,
get
absolutely. I mean, let's be honest. The only guy that you'll see that's going to get sold for big money, and I'm talking when I mean big money, I'm talking about 40 million plus. We could probably say Bruno Fernandes, and that's because Bruno Carvalho is going to push for the 40 million or whatever. Other than that, maybe Bas Dost, and that because he's a striker and he scores goals, they can demand a good amount of money. But the question is his age. Marega, again, a team like Watford has way more money than any of the Portuguese clubs combined. So they can come out and they can just drop 30, 35, 40 million for a guy like Marega, and Porto's going to be like, well, yeah, see you later. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. You're just going to be forced to sell all these players. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast.
I personally think Sporting have more pivotal, influential players to lose in the transfer market than Benfica or
I think we're pretty
Porto.
much leveled. I think we're pretty much leveled.
No, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
We've already spoken about Benfica and how
I
their
just
squad
don't.
isn't.
Look, Zivkovic, Gelson, Bruno Fernandes obviously would be someone different, but
Now, come on, Jelson's better than Zivkovic.
But I'm just
As a
saying
winger.
the level of impact by both players is pretty much similar to the team play.
I'm not sure because obviously Zivkovic is still he's got 3-4 months under him as someone who's been playing essentially. But if Sporting were to if Sporting lose Gelson, then that's obviously a top winger for the Portuguese league that Sporting lose, and he's one of the very few within the current roster that has that ability, that pace, that trickery. Other than that, Sporting are having to take a gamble on someone like Rafael Leão or Mateus Pereira coming back. So if Sporting, for example, Sporting could lose Rui Patrício, who we all know is a top goalie. We could lose William, who we all know is a top deep line playmaker. We could lose Bruno Fernandes, who, as I've said already, is the best player in the league right now, and we could lose Gelson. So that's 4. I don't think Porto or Benfica have 4 standout players like that. Porto is more of a team. So everyone's playing really well to a level, and obviously that's what's driven them to the top of the table. As I've said, fullbacks to be perhaps alongside Brahimi, for fullbacks to be your most prized assets, more or less, defines how level the output has been from everyone else.
All right.
And for Benfica, it's just, to me, as I said, it's just Grimaldo, possibly Zivkovic and Servi, but I think Sporting's heavier than the other two in terms of pivotal players to lose.
All right. Well, Bruno has to go, so sorry about that. I had to cut you off a little bit earlier, maybe. So Bruno, you want to take your leave now?
Yes, I will leave everything in Steve's hands now. I know I have faith in Steve to make sure that you don't give out any type of false information to our fans, and I know Patrick is gonna continue to keep you in check with him and his cats, his three
And
cats
his
for people that
new
are scoring
photo
at
with
home.
Bruno.
I just want yes, and his he might be a little distracted with the new photo that Cynthia posted in our chat, but it's
Yeah.
all right.
I haven't seen
I
it.
just want to say, next week I am not going to be on the show because I'll be flying out to the Dragon on Friday.
And
Oh,
I'm gonna
that's right.
I'm,
I'm gonna have to meet your ass. That's fun. That's fun.
I'm gonna yeah I'm you're not gonna meet my ass. You're not even coming close to my ass after the
Oh
not
my
after that red velvet chat, boy.
yeah no.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
even. I am not gonna be caught dead in the room by myself with you.
Goodness gracious.
Hashtag me too.
But
Anyway, if you're done poking fun at me, you can go. Whenever
I'm
you want. I'm
I'm
not
gonna
gonna pressure you.
I'm
Just
gonna let you guys be. Just my quick synopsis on the Porto game. I mean, Porto got a late winner from Marega. 3 valuable points. I jumped out the table. My wife started yelling at me, screaming, "What the hell are you doing?" But it was such an
I
emotional
like
win.
her.
It was a very big win. First time we won in the Madeira 6 years. I
Yeah.
think that has a lot to say. Against a very difficult Maritimo team. Yeah, there's going to be some people probably questioning about the goalkeeper. It's a red card. Was there a handball on Suarez? Before you answer that, answer me this. Was Suarez pushed from behind by the defender? Aha. I'll leave you guys with that.
I,
Aha. Like
I don't know what he's on about because I don't even
no,
watch
we need
it. I mean,
crazy. He just fights himself. It's craziness.
I know, right?
Yes,
He's gotta get mentally prepared for it. So,
I'm
anyway,
about to put on my straitjacket for the event.
your freaking
Yeah.
your freaking logic went in your favor this time because you said when your team's playing really well or team hasn't won in like 6 games or whatever, they're eventually bound to win, and that's what happened with your Porto.
Listen, 6 games in 5 years at Maritimo without a win has not been customary for Porto. And hopefully, this was the game that turned things around and we start getting a bunch of wins at Madeira. Traditionally, it's been very difficult for us more than any of the other three, other big two rivals. But Porto played very well. They were very objective. Maritimo put up a good fight, but at the end of the day, again, Mariga came through big time and scored the game winner. And you know, now we're 5 points, 5 points clear, 1 point away. We got a throttled Fadens who came off a huge win at Stubble to battle away from relegation. So it's going to be an interesting final 2 weeks. And Patrick, I'm rooting for you on Saturday. I hope you guys win.
Right.
And
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
and well, listen, Cynthia, nothing against you, but it's more because Peter, I want to see him put the ice pack back on his head.
Damn it,
All
like
right. All right. Well, great.
Steven, take care, and sorry for your loss. All right, bud.
I appreciate it, Bruno. Have a good
All right,
time
man.
in the Estadio de Dragão, man.
I will try. I'll scream for you all, including you, Peter.
No,
Take a
I'm
lot
fine.
of pictures, man. Take a lot of pictures.
I will. Trust me.
It's gonna be the only title in the next 5 years that you're gonna get. So
You
those are
listen.
big words, bud.
Yeah, that's some big words, and I gotta say, Peter, if you really think that, if you start selling off your team and you got to promote youth, I Jesus.
no, I'm messing with you. By the way, don't take it
I
serious.
know. Eu
All
inchaço para falar essa.
right. No, no.
All right, guys. I'll see you soon.
All right. See
Have a
you.
good one, bye.
Bye bye.
I do have a confession to make that I was on Twitter after we lost the game, and I saw Sporting fans like laugh at us. I unfollowed
Yeah.
because if I
You disappeared.
was, I wouldn't laugh at Sporting.
Can you start that again? We
Or-
heard you say you went on Twitter.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, for whatever reason it started cutting off on you. I don't know what you're doing.
Is it better now?
Yes.
All right. So I went to Twitter
Hmm.
and I saw the Sportingistas make fun of us,
Yep,
right?
I saw it too.
So I unfollowed one and muted another one. And listen,
He's talking to you,
I'm just
Patrick.
because no, it wasn't Patrick nor Sam, by the way. It wasn't either of them. Um, but listen, like the thing that annoys me is that if Sporting were in if we had our roles reversed, I wouldn't be laughing at Sporting because I would want to be champions. So it's kind of like I don't understand that point of making fun of the rivals since we're not going to get the title either way, you know. So it's kind of like pointless and stupid in my point of view. So I was kind of annoyed at that because it's all fun to poke holes during the season, but when the season's over and everything's literally decided, I wouldn't be happy with Porto or Sporting being champions. I wouldn't make fun of either because I didn't want either to win.
Yeah.
So I don't know why these Sportingistas have like this thing that they have to make fun of us when they're already out of the title race. It just doesn't really make any sense. I don't understand why the hatred for
Yeah,
Benfica is bigger than Porto's. To me, I hate both the same. I even hate Porto a little bit more, but I hate them the same. In a sense where if
there's
either of them win, I won't make fun of Sporting for being out of the race.
there's pockets of fans that will do that for any club though. So it's
Exactly. Yeah.
I wouldn't attribute it solely
No,
to
no,
Sporting.
no. I'm not saying just Sporting fans. I'm saying that those Sporting fans, really annoyed me because because I know that you obviously can say, "Hey, you lost" and all that, and joke with that. But you're not gonna be all happy like, "Hey, Benfica lost and they're out of the title race too." Her, we're both out of the title race. Like, no,
Yeah, I can't deny I was happy, but it's more obviously because Sporting can
can
go
get that
above
second place.
Benfica because I've been eyeing that up for a couple of weeks now,
Yeah.
and all that, but
No, but
that's mainly it. But
it's not in the sense that they're out of the title race, so I'm happy about that because it doesn't really make any sense because you don't want either of
yeah,
them.
I don't like Porto anyway as much as I don't like Benfica, but um, whenever any of my rivals lose, it brings a smile to my face. But
I
But
agree.
see, here's my thing is, yeah, I'm laughing at your team, but I would never laugh at you. Like, I'm friends with these people. Some of my family are rival fans. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Some of these people were
yeah,
like getting personal, and I was like, all right, so y'all need to have a break. Put Twitter down.
yeah, obviously everyone needs to learn how to separate. Obviously, basic friendship and what happens in the sport. I guess
Hmm.
it's something not many people
Hmm.
usually do that well. But
No, they don't.
That's for sure. And I also want to say that I have a lot of Porto fans, like making fun of me during school, and I'm like, it's the first year you're gonna celebrate in the past 4 years, so take it down a notch, all right? So kind of like doing the reverse when they said like we celebrated a title every 5 years. So I'm basically doing the same thing to them because they used to say that to us. But let's get into the actual game now. The Maritim Porto game. Obviously, Maritim lost this game right near the end. Honestly, it was really late when I went to check because I thought the game was over and they had just scored, and I was surprised. So I guess the game got a little bit delayed, but they got the goal in the end. It was Marega. Anyway, let me give the lineup. It was Casillas in goal, Ricardo, Felipe, Marcan, and Alex Telles across the back with Otávio, Herrera, Sergio Oliveira, and Brahim in the midfield, and Tiquinho, Soares, and Marega up front. And obviously, we'll let the Portista go first. Steven, what did you think about this Porto game at Madeira?
Well, as far as the Porto game, I'm happy that we got the 1-0 win. Important amount of points for us towards the end of the season. Throughout the game, Porto had their chances. Marítimo fought hard. And then, the goalie making that huge error where he got that red card for doing that tackle on Suarez, which I do agree was a red card. It was outside the box, so we didn't get a penalty for it to make it a little bit easier for us. But I think from there, once we had 10 guys against us, I thought we should have hit the full throttle since we had the numbers advantage, and we should have won more comfortably. That's what I was hoping for because my prediction was 3-1. I thought it was going to be 3-0 at that point, but it got really close towards the end. I thought we were going to end up in a tie, but then we got that goal in the corner, so it was an important goal for us. And I think Porto played hard, kept their composure, and kept going for the same goal throughout the game and didn't lose any focus.
All right. Well, I'll let Cynthia go next since she watched the game. You watched the game, right, Cynthia?
I did. Saturday was my family day, so Sunday I got to watch soccer. Great. So the entire time, I thought it was a really weird game. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I see the red card happen, and yes, it's a red card. He came out, I don't know why, but I could see his studs, and I don't know why I ever see studs on another player. I think it's the dirtiest thing, and the ref got it right away. And then it took a while for the second goalie to come out. That took about 5 minutes, taking the one goalie off the field, getting the other one back on, and then line that up. It was I think just like a free kick outside the box, and it completely went wide. Which again, I thought the game was just so weird because Porto did have chances, but I didn't see them getting them. They pulled a Benfica, and then by the end, I think it was like 80th minute, they get that damn goal, and I was like, of course they did, of course they did. And it's just like Bruno said, don't tell me the numbers. The numbers mean nothing when it's this high. Bruno's actually the only one that got it right. He said 1-0. That's what the game was, and great. So now 5 points. Yay. So excited.
All right. So, Patrick, what did you think about this game?
I wasn't overly impressed with Porto, to be honest, and I know the Porto fans don't really care because they're obviously lost in this euphoria of being on the verge of winning the league, so there isn't that much attention being paid to how they played. But I just think it was one of those games where obviously the red card happens, and which is, I agree with what everyone said, it was a clear red card. And after that, what it does is it invites a team like Maritimo to surrender somewhat and go deep. And what that does is make life difficult for a club like Porto, who goes out into every game hoping to win. And from that point onwards, what I saw, I don't think I saw enough. I don't think I saw enough ideas bouncing, enough creativity from a Porto side to really find that goal in the natural, like to find a goal naturally. And in the end, where they do find the goal is from a set piece. So it's all very, how could I say this? Well, just if you throw a set piece like a cross into a box, it's not very methodical or anything like that.
No, it was weird, right?
That's what I thought. Like Porto lacked like all game. Obviously, Maritimo played their part because they played very defensive and they did it very well. But Porto won't care about that. All they'll care about is obviously that they got that goal in the 88th minute or whenever it was from Marega.
A win's a win, right? Is that what they say?
Yeah, and then obviously there was a red card at the very end that brought Maritimo down to 9 men. But yeah, Porto have been good in the sense that they've been able to execute their game plan, which is to press from the first minute and attack the spaces. They've been good enough that they've been able to pull that plan off for majority of the games they've played in, and they've won a lot of those games quite comfortably. And they are where they are, so that they deserve credit for that. But there have been a few times when, obviously, like Sunday, where I think they have lacked ideas quite badly, especially when you compare it to a team like Sporting or Benfica. But fortunately for them, I don't think enough teams have really exposed that facet of Porto's side. So yeah, again, in the end, what that culminates to is a team that's 1 point away from winning the title, and they may not even need that point, depending on what happens in between Sporting and Benfica. So we'll see what happens.
I am a sad man living.
What's going on?
Well, Peter.
Yes, Steven.
Peter, I want to say something. After that goal, right away, my dad came after they scored because I was screaming.
Oh,
He's
God.
like, Meninga pushed that defender. He pushed the guy. and the other defender from Porto held the other guy down. That's why he scored the goal. Right away, he just said, not really a goal. No big deal.
Dirty goals.
Then,
dirty goals.
Yeah, that's a dirty goal. You can't be pushing a guy like that. And you know what? I don't think the guy was using his arm. I think he just had more strength on him. I don't think Marega did anything dirty. And then, of course, my dad brought up that thing with the red card because there was some gossip, I guess, before the game that, someone's paying the goalie from Maritimu to do something stupid in the game.
Yeah,
I heard about that. And I was like, no, it's not that. It can't be that. I don't really want to believe in gossip like that. But, of course, my dad being the way he was from the day before, he was feeling strongly about it.
The only thing that my dad said about that game was that there were a couple of yellow cards that could have been shown to Porto players that he think, they got away with it, and that if that play was on the other side with Casillas, that you wouldn't have gotten a red card. But honestly, I can't talk because I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch any of the plays. I didn't watch the highlights. Nothing. So it's not like I can.
You're not bitter at all.
I can't weigh on this at all. I'm just going by what my dad told me. So I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch their game against Experience League. I'm not, and I haven't seen any newspaper covers for the past week too. So it's just like I've been away from football. It's just like it's crazy.
You guys need a breakup?
I need a break. Yeah. I don't need to break up. I just need a break,
or just a timeout, whatever. Sure.
Yeah. After the season ends, I need a small break. That's all I'm saying. I don't know, but generally thinking about it. Anyway, that's besides the point. We gotta get to a couple of the comments from Neil, and then we're out of here unless you guys have anything else to add to what's been happening, and obviously predictions too, but. Besides that, I don't know if you guys have anything else to weigh in on what happened this week.
No.
All right. Well, let's get into the comments then. So Neil said that it's safe to say that the emails are no longer relevant to Portland Sporting, and I tend to agree, especially if Porto had won the title last year. Nobody would have been talking about these emails. I still believe that Benfica is going to win this court case, to be honest with you guys, but we'll see what happens. It's still going to be a long process. And then he also said that can we all agree that Real Madrid will win the Champions League and Portugal will win the World Cup? I partially disagree. I agree.
I can agree with this.
I agree with Portugal winning the World Cup. I disagree with Real Madrid winning the Champions League.
I disagree with both.
Whoa!
Come on, Patrick.
I don't know about Portugal winning.
Hey, you guys are being mean.
Y'all got this on the wrong side of things. Like you're Portuguese, you gotta support Portugal, and you obviously gotta go for Salah to win the Ballon d'Or. So obviously, I'm going with Liverpool to win.
Whoa! I don't think Salah's winning the Ballon d'Or.
He is. If they win the Champions League, there's no way they're not handing him that Ballon d'Or with 43 goals scored already this season, and the amount of assists he's gotten and just the influential player he is, and it would have been fun to see somebody else then.
Yeah, but if Messi or Ronaldo go on to win the World Cup, then it's tight.
World Cup.
That's a good point.
That is a good point. I totally forgot about the World Cup.
Right, and it depends if Salah wins the Champions League with Liverpool, and if they get Liverpool, if Real Madrid gets Liverpool, I don't think Liverpool could be Real Madrid. I'm going to be honest with you. Once they're in the finals, Ronaldo's just going to dominate, and I don't know if they have an answer for Ronaldo defensively because Liverpool, as you've seen, they've been very poor defensively. They've had games where they were good, and then they've had games where they have made mistakes in the back, and Ronaldo would take advantage of the mistakes.
I'm just saying, this game, this Champions League, is either going to be a 5-4 thriller type of game, or Real Madrid completely crushed Liverpool. But I'm expecting more of the opposite. I think Liverpool are going to win this game simply because I don't like Real Madrid's defending. I thought they were extremely poor yesterday. They were terrible. I got no idea how they got, away with that game. I'm banking on Liverpool to take the Champions League.
Hey man, listen, Peter. Porto's won the Champions League with Mourinho, and we got a lot of teams where we were just drawing and we were just getting through aggregate. If Porto can do it, Real Madrid can easily get through like that. And once they get to the big game, that's when they're going to dominate. As long as they got through, that's all that matters because, it doesn't matter if they played good or not. They passed. And now that they're going to get to the final, Ronaldo is going to want his 5th Champions League title, and they're going to do whatever it takes to win. And with a club like that, with that type of pedigree, and Liverpool not having players where they have experience in the Champions League, keep in mind, none of these guys on Liverpool have been to a Champions League final.
Yeah,
right?
but they played in Germany. They've played in several finals. They can handle the pressure. I mean, Moreno won a Europa League, so.
Well, let me give you a stat, Peter. The last time they were in Europa League final, right? It was Sevilla against Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp was the coach. They lost that final, and they were the heavy favorites, right? And Jurgen Klopp, as I've seen when he was in Dortmund, there were times where he would be in the finals for cups and stuff like that, and he failed to win those games. He has failed in finals in the past.
I don't know. I'm banking with Patrick. I'm banking with Patrick that Liverpool take this one.
All right, we'll see.
And before we get to the predictions, do you actually want to say why you think Liverpool was going to win it, Patrick?
Because you're in the minority. Sorry.
I don't think Liverpool win it. I'm just not that sure that Real Madrid will win it.
Well, if you're not sure that Real Madrid is going to win it, it's going to be Liverpool. So I mean,
but I'm not sure Liverpool can win it as well because what I'm saying is.
So there's no winner. There's no winner this year. We're canceling it. Go home.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Nah, it's just very difficult. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's easy. Real Madrid have got this," but I just don't know because Liverpool at their best, at their worst, it doesn't matter. They love a big game, and when they get a big game in front of them, they just turn up and they start working. They start putting 1, 2, 3, 4 goals past you, and they've done it all the way through this Champions League campaign. So Real Madrid really can't mess about, and they did, and they weren't that great as Peter said defensively against Bayern. And if Bayern are a little bit cooler inside the box and pick the right options of passing, they could have probably knocked Real Madrid out. And obviously against Juventus, we all knew that Real Madrid were perhaps quite fortunate to go through then. Both teams have weaknesses coming into it. Obviously, Liverpool, as we saw against Roma, their defence is it has particular gaps that Real Madrid can find, and if you're giving Ronaldo a chance, he'll eat you up. So
that's what I'm saying. This
can go.
It's gonna be like
anyway.
5-4.
I truly don't know. Yeah, it could be.
Because
I don't know.
Like both teams are very good.
Final to watch.
What, Steven?
That would be a fun finals to watch. Trust me, I would record that, watch it the first time, watch it again.
That's what I'm hoping for, man. We haven't had one of those in God knows how long. And, it's just because I see that both teams are so aggressive and they play good attacking football. I just see it being, a game with a lot of goals, just like this Roma-Liverpool game was just today. Cynthia, you want to weigh in on this Champions League talk, or?
I like Ronaldo, so I'd prefer to see him.
All right, so she says Ronaldo.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, not even Real. I say Ronaldo.
Okay. Well, let's get to the predictions then. Damn, this cough. Let's start with the Porto one first because it's
for the champs.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We'll get to the beginning of that.
Stop it, Steve.
So he's saying that. Watch me next week say that Porto lost to Ferias. That would be funny.
Fucking yes!
So what do you think? This Porto Ferias game. What's the scoreline for you?
It's gonna be 3-0.
All right, Cynthia.
I'm doing 1-0 for Ferias.
Of course you are, Patrick.
I'm doing 1-1.
Yeah, I'm doing it, Steve.
Oh man. Oh my goodness. I think that's some hopeful thinking, guys.
Sweetheart, I'll have hope till the end. Keep going.
Yeah, Patrick, what did you say? I didn't really catch you.
I said 1-1.
Oh, you said 1-1. Okay. Well, I'm saying
No, it's not good enough, Patrick. No, we need a
I'm
loss.
saying 4-0 to Porto. That's what I'm saying.
4-0.
Yeah.
Why don't you say 6-0? That seems to be the
Mike,
devil's.
you know, who knows? Oh, I say 6-0, so they lose. Is that what
Yeah,
you want?
yeah.
Okay, all right, 6-0 then. 6-0 then.
Oh my God! If it's actually 6-0, fuck.
Pronto. Se acertar, acertei. Se não acertar, que se lixe. Anyway, then we move on to Benfica.
Sporting host Benfica. Yeah.
Let's start with the one that's on the minority here. So the Sportingista goes first.
2-1 to Sporting.
2-1?
Yeah, we're winning.
All right. Well, Cynthia.
I say 3-4
Ay, carajo.
Sporting.
for Benfica. Yeah, like I would ever say for Sporting to win. That's why I said 3-4.
All right. Well, I'm going slightly different than y'all. I'm going 3-1. 1-3, sorry.
1-3.
So I don't know why. Just don't ask. It's got this like gut feeling. It's gonna.
I got a feeling about 3-4. So let's hope.
Those Carlos hat tricks, from years past, are gonna come back to haunt Sporting. Steven, what do you think? What's the scoreline for you?
I think it's gonna be 1-1.
All right, I'll appreciate it, buddy. I'll take it. I'll take that. I'll take that and run away with it. Be kind of sassy, haven't I? Anyway, it is what it is. So obviously next week means no Bruno, which means a slightly more relaxed podcast, even with Porto being champions.
I don't know, man. We got a couple of haters already. I don't know if you saw on Twitter or not, but we have a few Benfica. Just tell Bruno to shut up already.
It is what it is.
But they're not even listening. So bad.
Even when they don't tune in, They just add us to say like, "Be done with Bruno." Anyway,
shut up, Bruno.
Anyway, we're going to be here next week to review those games.
Yeah.
Honestly, even if Porto win the title, I don't think we're going to spend too much time on it. Obviously, the heavy focus is going to be on the Sporting Benfica game, unless it's a complete blowout. Then, but I'm not expecting it to be that. I'm expecting it to be a close game. And then we'll look more forward to the final week of the season as we're approaching the end of the year and episode number 100. So that's going to be fun.
And for Braga.
Yeah, you watch out for Braga, jackass.
Watch out for Braga, yeah. Anyway.
They're on your heels too, smarty.
Yeah, that's true.
We've been on our heels for time.
That's right. Anyway, so thank you, Steven. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Bruno, who isn't here at the moment, but he was also around, so he gets a shout out. We'll be back next week where we're going to be talking about the derby and Porto's possible title win. So then, see you guys
Let's hope not.
next week. Bye-bye.